Well, Rosie is the first woman to win the Kentucky Oaks. So, 2 years ago. Wait, find out. And she's riding in the Kentucky Derby next weekend and the Kentucky Oaks. And now she is an avid fan of Herb and Aftercare, and she has an amazing story about this horses in the arena that we've asked her to come and share, this horse's story and how she met him. And he's her own personal horse now, and this is her husband who's out here demonstrating for the first half. So Rosie, I'll just let you take over.
This is my horse, Sugar, affectionately named after a horse that I actually used to gallop called Spoonful Sugar. His real name is Old Einstein. He's being ridden by my husband, Joe Sharp, who so graciously pointed out that he rides him better in Western Tack. And Joe has also trained him to pony horses on the racetrack, so he currently works every day at the racetrack, lives at the racetrack, and ponies horses in the morning. He is a 2001 Rubiano. I first met Sugar when I was riding Maryland, and he was in Fairtown Farm. And I started raising him, and I pretty much fell in love with the horse before I made it to the track the first time. He just was very classy. Obviously, he's beautiful. And Paris told me that, he was coming off the layoff and he was cut out to be a pretty nice horse, but he has had a condylar fracture in front and a condylar fracture behind. He currently still has 3 screws in his left hind ankle, a chip in his front ankle, and an old dispensary in the left front. Since I acquired Sugar in September, actually Labor Day, 2008. I followed his career. After I had ridden him, I rode him, I believe, a total of 7 times, and we won 2 races together. And you can try if you like. Not Western Tack. So Sugar, like I said, was cut out to be a nice horse, ended up down on the bottom planning level. And when he was claimed from a Maryland track and taken to a track in Boston, I kept track of him because I just really, he had sort of stolen my heart. And I let the owners and trainers know that I would love to retire him when he was finished racing. That's just what happened in September 2008 when he ran at Philadelphia Park for 5,000. And I don't know exactly where he finished that day, but it wasn't anywhere worth mentioning. And so I was in contact with the people that claimed him that day. And he came to me soon after that. I brought him to my mom's farm, and with a broken leg myself at the time, I asked her if she would school him, use him for her students, compete him if she wanted to. I told her, I said, I want to come down, when I get a chance once or twice a month and just get on my horse and ride. So my mom did a lot of the reschooling in eventing. He competed at a very low level in eventing. And I believe some other hunter jumper shows was a student of hers. And he has also been my fun horse since then, which was absolutely the objective with Sugar. One of my favorite stories actually was last year. He's been a racetrack pony for almost 3 years now. So he lives at the track. He travels with us. He's Joe's stable pony. Joe is assistant trained for Mike Baker. He travels with us everywhere we go. Last fall, when we were here at Peatland, he worked 1 set in the morning. He just basically escorted the horse to the racetrack and back to the barn. So we brought him back to the stall. I took off his Western tack, put on my English tack, put him on a van, shipped him an hour, and went fox hunting. And that's the kind of horse that Sugar is. And he's just been absolutely, what are we doing today, Mom? He's been schooled on the flat 2 times and overjumped 3 times, including 1 last night in the last 6 months. And probably way beyond that, but it was about 6 months ago that we went fox hunting, so that's the time frame I'm using. So if Joe, you want to bring it to the middle, we can change his outfit. is definitely evident with Sugar, because he's still basically on the track, is that teaching a horse how to balance. Because you don't necessarily need a lot of balance to go around in an oval that's a mile long. And so that's something that we definitely have to work on every time we put this outfit on.
Rosie's under a lot of pressure because she's riding in the Derby on a horse owned by Mr. Ramsey over there. And if he doesn't like what he sees tonight, he might just have to find another rider. Maybe it's too late. Those screws in his ankles don't seem to be bothering him, huh? In case you haven't picked up the theme from this about these horses that have all these bumps and bruises, it doesn't necessarily, you just shouldn't necessarily listen to your vet. Wow. She got a pretty good eye for a fence. For a jockey. Just know where the finish line is, I guess. Okay. Shows enthusiasm.
All I get for that wasn't okay.
That was badass.
You all saw him he was attacking up. He's always done such a great job whenever I ask him. He impresses me all the time. He's exactly what I wanted. He's just a horse field to jump on and have fun.
Do you have any advice for people who want to learn how to gallop a horse?
I think going from any type of riding to galloping, the key is to have a very good foundation to get yourself to that point and knowing how to communicate with horses. The worst thing that you can see on the racetrack is a rider that's scared, and it happens all the time. And April, which happened to be the same time babies come in, when they're 2 years old. And learning how to gallop on the racetrack with the babies, I didn't realize at the time, but I realize it now, was probably the best thing that could have happened, because I learned each step leading up to breathing course, in and out of the gate, all the right steps, and with no fear. The horses aren't as fit when they come in as 2-year-olds. I wasn't fit. So that to me was a huge part of